Hey there guys, this is Pharaoh2091 and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Last time we left off, we heard Director Cosmos' testimony about what he really saw, but we were paying attention to the emotions in it, because, Athena's cool like that. And right here we're saying, wait a minute, you were more surprised like when she came in than when she actually fired at you, so I think that what's strange about the surprise reaction is that I'm thinking is that you were more surprised that she actually came. I think, anyway. Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you, but the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge is much greater. God! The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than being shot at suggests to me that you were conflicted about whether it was you whatever it was you were doing there. I said that all jacked up. The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence Operation Hide Under Your Desk. Yeah! Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. I love that game. Not yet. Boss, I'm getting less Discord now. That must mean he really is hiding something about that launchpad door. Whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape. I wonder what it could be. If he was doing something suspicious around that door, maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after. Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after a crime. Let's run a comparison. Oh, I know it's up. Let's see, this is the footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looked like after the director entered the lounge. Hey, look at that! There is a change. Something's definitely different. Director Cosmos. What is it? What have you two been up to over there? Finding the answer to what you were doing when Detective Arm found you, that's what. And that answer lies clearly in this footage. All we had to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation. Well, don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you have pointed out already. He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident. And this is something I brought up a while ago. The lock is, I think, disengaged right here. So, I think, isn't that the lock to the door / the whole launch pad? You know how it kind of swivels or whatever Ponko was talking about? But that's the only thing that changes there. The answer is this knob. No! That's... Your Honor, please take a look at this footage. Let's see here. Take a look at the knob next to the launchpad door. As you can see, it's horizontal. Yes, it is, isn't it? However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical. And what does that mean? It means that sometime before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. Ah! After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door? Fine, I admit it. I admit it. You're right, I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launchpad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launchpad away. You want to do what? Hey, didn't Ponko tell us something about how to prepare for launch? She said that once the launchpad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. Yep. But the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first. I guess that clears up what that knob is for. Oh, so if the killer escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, maybe they were transported all along with the Launchpad to the launch site? I don't think so. The Launchpad 1 corridor was filled with smoke, and I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor. So then, where did the killer escape to? I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launchpad in more detail. Fine. But listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making testimony. Oh boy, here we go. Info update. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. But he's a little happy there. Or is he happy because he wants to save it? Okay, whatever. I fear that there might be more explosions. So I had to cut the launch pad loose. Surely the only escape the killer was through that launch pad 1. But that area was a sea of smoke. Confound it, where on earth could they have gone? Huh, okay, so... Well, why are you angry about this? That's not correct. Okay. Well, view your emotions alongside your testimony and find the unexpected emotion. Wait a minute. So, okay, we're gonna do this again. I don't know, but I think maybe we made a mistake, Mr. Wright. I think maybe you're right. Ah. Well, okay, so... Oh, how about the very beginning? He was kind of happy. Is that it? Okay, yeah. I guess I was, like, really out of place. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so. And yet, when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were pleased with yourself. Ugh! How did you do that? How do you do everything? If everything... okay, as if you were there. Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology. So, can you explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. Ah! How do you know about that, too? Because I'm more or less a pro. At guessing. Oh, Phoenix. But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. And even if I did, I would never, ever tell you. So there. I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake. And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity? Silence. Oh, he's about to cut him down right here. You? A man of integrity? Don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden? You've spouted nothing but falsities since you stepped on the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Yeah, annals, not what I said before a few parts back. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar an honor. Liar! His words bite harder than his blade. You moved the launch pad 1 after the explosions. My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge 1 side. The police confirmed this on scene. What? Liar! So that means the director didn't move the launch pad? Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content. Liar! He's stuck on that. But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to. Yeah! You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out. So many quotations. Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Well, that's what we're known for, buddy. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy? Boy? Ah! Talk about hitting below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ugh! Wait a minute. Maybe I have it backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident, and then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot? All we had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back, and it would be right where the police found it. Gah! He cut off his hair! Has he done that before? Because that was the first time I noticed it. Alright. You made him sigh like Mr. Starbuck. What was it I said that, was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you. However, our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astral Wanderers made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film. Alright. So, to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Ugh! Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad was to move, but our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts are never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket? Hey, wait a minute! Maybe, just maybe, huh? Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went to another place? What if we were, what if, when the director moved Launch Pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the accidental bull, and I'll cut you. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmos' reason for moving Launch Pad 1 was to what? To hide it, to switch it with another place, to trap the true killer. His reason for moving Launchpad 1. I don't know if you'll say to hide it. I know we're talking about switching it, but I want to say it's to trap the true killer, but is that the case? Let's try that. That might be wrong, actually. Indeed it was. Penalty. Because he wanted to trap the true killer. Right, don't need I remind you there was an explosion, and that the corridor between the launch pad and the lounge was thick with smoke. If the killer had been trapped in there, they would have been found as dead as their victim. Yeah, I forgot. I guess you're right. I don't know why I was still thinking they had to have gone through the... Actually, no, I think I'm still a little bit confused on the facts here. Well, I'm glad you both agree. Now, here's a penalty for you, Mr. Wright. Oh, shut up. I don't agree with that penalty, though. Your Honor, please give me another chance. So, I think it was to switch it. Because that's what we're actually talking about. I don't know why I just didn't choose that from the very beginning. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place. I'm sorry, but did you just say switch it? But what could he possibly have switched the launch pad with? Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what will switch with launch pad 1. And I think the only thing I could switch is the Space Museum? Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It was all the same features as Launchpad 1 and can even be moved to the launch site, meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. You can't mean... The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum. Why would they do that, though? What? Boulder Dash! I'm a little confused. And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Museum was just before the incident. I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places. That's right. And with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from boarding lounge 1. This allowed a true killer to enter Launchpad 1 from boarding lounge 2 and set the bomb on the rocket. Well, come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum was from boarding lounge 2. Oh, I'm not going to voice edit this again, but, it's open to the public 9 AM to 7 PM. So, yeah. Exactly. Anyone can pass through the door to the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. God! After setting the bomb on that rocket, the culprit snuck into boarding lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Taryn when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure. All who can suppose, after killing Mr. Taryn, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. And by doing so, he can easily go through boarding lounge 2, you know, no recognition, boom. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. No! Right, Dono. See how you handle a sword. You handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor. Silence. But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword. Well, that's right. If you have no proof, I switched to launch. You have no proof, I switched to launch pads. Somebody needs a better angle management counselor. Anger management, not angle. If the launch pads really were switched, there must be a record of it somewhere. At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum are switched with each other. So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see. This is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Okay. Do you see anything different than when we compare it to the security footage? Huh? That number on the floor. Really? I didn't even notice that. Well, what do you know? It looks like we have a proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. And if this is just another bluff... Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Oh, there is. I see it. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Oh, crap. Phone call. Gotta love interruptions. Very well then. Answer this for me, if you would. What in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum? And, basically, just as Phoenix mentioned, the number on the floor. Look, it's a freaking 2! How come I didn't... That is awesome. I did not notice that. At least I didn't notice it. Until now. There's a 1 on the floor to the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see is the one in the Space Museum. Ugh! Oh! Oh! Alright. And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke. That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in the Launchpad 1 on the side opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the two astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Taryn, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. Just incredible. The two launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude. Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. Gah! Gah! More of it. We're done! Album info update. And yep, that actually led to the Space Museum. Bye-bye! No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth! Oh, my honor, my glory, everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my ultimate weapon. Galactic engine, ignition. What? It's going haywire. Ah, it won't stop. Ah, ah, my stars, my glory. Ah, ah, ah. Whoa. No, not that way, God! Oh my God, what the hell? That's like a freaking cartoon right there. But Bailiff, on your street, on your steed, and that's that witness. Wow, okay, that was, okay. Oh, look how the show, oh, what the hell, that thing has bandages now. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Director Cosmos, did you admit you switched to launch pads? I admit it's true. I switched launch pad 1 for the Space Museum. Ah, it is good to hear your words I can believe for a change. Before you do, Your Honor, 2 things. First, we don't know if Mr. Tarrant had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Tarrant would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched to Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Tarrant feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched to 2 launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. No. Director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why. Probably not a good time to try to pry it out of him, huh? Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, nothing. I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars. So it's like, is he afraid of someone, or... I don't know. Well, it appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say? I don't get it. Don't get it? What don't you get? Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us! Mr. Starbuck! Starbuck, my boy. I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. But I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director! Will I ever get the chance to go into space again? Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. And once again, we know everybody in this photo besides the one to the right. Who is that? But I have a feeling I know. Well, not exactly, but I have a... I don't know. I will get you into space again, my boy. Then the dream is still alive.
Silence.
Oh, of course he had to dash it. Ooh. You're not going to space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? Oh, Fulbright did say, like, Blackwell has something against the defendant or something. Yes, I accepted launch pads really were switched. If there was a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I've yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum. Oh, well, that's a good point. Ah, he's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? That was weird. Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. If I'm gonna die, I wanna die in space. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself. Oh, jeez. I forgot he had that. No, you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. I can only assume that. That's Fulbright. That annoying, cheerful laugh. It can be none other than... Champion of Righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust. Detective Fulbright? Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. Well, I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. And then I had to break up the cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. What is the fight between cats? Was it a fight between cats or... Why are you here again? Well, because the defendant isn't the culprit. I came to make sure of that. Justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed? Nope, but it looks like you're succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence? Well, come to think of it, he did say something about finding some evidence. And, yep, it got off his chest. I'm gonna work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. I didn't think he was serious, though. So what is it, Detective? Is there something that will prove Mr. Starbuck is innocent? Oh, it is indeed! Have a look at this! What's this? A lighter? Well, that's right. A lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. He has the victim, Clay Terran's blood, along with the victim's killer's fingerprints on it. What? Ugh! Holy crap! Fulbright actually did something. Yeah, that had an Earth emblem on it and everything. Order! Order! Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet! Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. Alright. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Well, explain yourself, Mr. Wright. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall that this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred, and finally the killer left through the boarding launch 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one who dropped the lighter there.
Silence.
Ah, but the defendant had free reign in the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he have not dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection.
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure of a lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could have only been dropped by the real killer. Ugh. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found in this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. That's not a word. Weird. Yeah. Well, this does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims. As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No, there must be some mistake. Well, frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence.
What? Tomorrow? Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent, in light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed a crime. A few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant Solomon Starbuck... Come on, not guilty! Woohoo! Confetti in the courtroom! Well, that was actually pretty quick. This is a really quick case. Okay, wait a minute. So Solomon Starbuck isn't the killer. But who is? We don't even figure that one out yet. Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright. Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best. Oh, I wish we can tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now. Yeah, me too. Well, that's gonna have to wait. Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Case is adjourned. Court is adjourned. Yeah, that was a really, really short...
Objection.
Oh, really? It's already been reached, man. It's done. It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong. Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict? Fulbright! What were the results of fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? What the results? There's more laughing. Oh, well, I was in a hurry, you see, and, well, then there was that cat fight, and, well, you didn't do it. I kind of got carried away when I heard the prints weren't Mr. Starbuck, so... You have yet to read it? Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out what the prints belong to? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes. What? So says the report. What? What? Huh? Me? What? What? What's going on? Why Athena? Order, I say! Order! Miss Sykes! Tell me you have an explanation for this! We just finished proving that this lighter could have only belonged to the killer. So finding your prints on it could only lead us to one grave conclusion. I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit. You see how Wood you got mad? Like, no! This can't be happening. We built our argument piece by piece. I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it lead to this? Yeah, that's a really bad update. Go! What have I done? Oh, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Order! Order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying. What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad. Order! Order! I will have order! This is messed up, man! What the hell? Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of the reason and into the jaws of twisted darkness. So, end? That was the end of Case 4? A new episode has been added. This is the final episode, guys. Turnabout for tomorrow. Whoa. That's... okay. Okay. What else is there to say there? I mean... it was weird. I mean, I was like, yeah, the Case 4, it went by quick. That was a really, really quick, episode. At least in my opinion, it was like... and what a way to end it. I mean, it's like, okay, we proved that Solomon Starbuck wasn't it because of that lighter, but because of what we proved, and having Athena's fingerprints out of all people, Athena's for whatever reason is on those, or her prints are on the lighter. Now she is accused of being. I mean, she, according to what we said, that's the only reason, the only way it can be the murderer. But of course, we know Athena can't have done it. So that's kind of weird. So Case 4 and 5 really go together. And yeah, I believe Case 5 is the final case in this game. We're finally here, guys. We're gonna start Case 5, but that won't happen until the next episode, which I'm sure a lot of crazy things is going to be happening here. So stay tuned for that. So as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. I'll see you guys later.